Under the Soft Moonlight by Erasure Cat 19. Read by The Devil's Advocate 18. The chilled air bites at the tips of Izuku's fingers as he sits on the rooftop of Heights Alliance, legs dangling off the edge. There's a ledge, but it's short and cozy enough to sit on. The wind brushes against his face gently, and he relishes in the grounding burn of the cold. His mind feels like the colored pixels on a broken television screen. A morbid buzz prevents any productive thoughts from forming, but flashes of manic brightness strike like lightning every time he tries to stop thinking. So he came up here. When he was at home, he would go for a run, the sting of his muscles pulling him back down to earth, if a bit harshly. But now that they'd moved to UA dorms, an alarm would sound any time the door to an exit opened past curfew, alerting Aizawa-sensei, and the conversation about why he was sneaking out for a run was certainly not one he was eager to have with his overly caring teacher. Even though he wouldn't like anybody to know, the gruff man is truly the kindest teacher Izuku has ever had. Nevertheless, the whole day had gone by in a short blur that seemed to last forever at the time, and now, looking back, feels like a blink. It just happened to him sometimes, an excruciating, penetrable state of craving productiveness and being unable to do anything. Izuku's not quite sure what he's supposed to have learned in class today, and because 1A hadn't had heroics today, he had maths, hero and law ethics, English, Japanese, and art history, and he could barely remember any of it. Shit, come tomorrow he's going to be so behind. He wishes there didn't have to be a tomorrow. He closes his eyes firmly, clenches his fists tight, and bites the side of his cheek as hard as he can will himself to. He's such a fuck-up. He should kill himself. It's hard not to think about how easy it would be, up here, sitting on the roof. The stars are so beautiful. He could become one of them. When did it become late enough for stars to be out? He hadn't bothered to check the time before coming out, but it was almost certain that the sun should still be out when he first took place on the ledge. He shot a glance to his watch, careful not to lose balance on the ledge. 9:56 p.m. Lights out is at 10. By then, everyone is required to be in their own bedrooms and with no intention to leave. Up above the real world, his troubles couldn't weigh him down quite so much, so sometimes it's nice to float a bit. It's so freeing to feel that he could laugh, to cry, to sing, or scream, and no one would judge him. He pulls up the hood of his gray UA hoodie over his fluffy hair and warmth beyond just the temperature surrounding him. It feels safer now, sheltered from the world, even just by a thin piece of cloth. Izuku looks up, searching for constellations, legs kicking now as they hang off the side of the building, quietly, but not silently. He heard the door behind him open. It's not a student, because they would have opened the door more loudly, and the padded footsteps advancing towards him certainly do not belong to any of his peers, and it probably wasn't a villain or criminal either, since they wouldn't have bothered entering the dorms just to reach the rooftop, not with all of Nezu's complex security systems that they must have at least be semi-aware of. So that leaves the teacher, and Aizawa-sensei is on dorm duty tonight. He pulls down his hood reluctantly before speaking, but not in his usual forced cheeriness. He does not have the energy to fake at the moment. Hi, Aizawa-sensei. I'm not going to jump, I promise. The older man moves quickly to join him on the ledge, sitting in a similar position to his own. In that case, what are you doing up here? He asks, his voice kept cautiously blank, clearly not believing him. The teen doesn't blame the man. If he found a kid sitting on the edge of a roof, acting nothing like his usual persevered self, he would be concerned too. Clearing my head. The chill helps me think. The chill also helps you catch a cold. Aizawa shoots back gently, and Izuku can't help but let out a laugh escape his lips at the sarcastic comment. Seriously though, kid, we've all heard the helps me think excuse before. Talk to me. Sometimes it's just hard, no, impossible to do anything, he explains the best he can. Usually exercise helps, but it's not as easily accessible of a solution in the dorms. As they sit there in silence for a minute, it's hard not to notice Aizawa-sensei's capture weapon still gripped firmly in his right hand. The man still thinks he might jump. In all fairness, wasn't he vaguely considering the idea earlier? Not seriously, though. Never seriously. Tried the whole suicide attempt thing once. Not really for him. You're different when people aren't around, the raven-haired man mused. I don't have the energy to pretend, he admits blandly. You don't have to. Pretend, that is. It's not always fake, just sometimes. Bad stuff happens, it sucks. But I've gotten really good at making people think it doesn't affect me. That's not normal, to hide your feelings. It's not healthy either. Yeah. And neither of them say anything for a while, just the sky, the moon, and the stars, and the cold night air around them. Everything is still and quiet, but somehow everything is still loud and in motion. Izuku exhales deeply and leans his head against his teacher's shoulder in somewhat of an affectionate gesture. It's going to be okay, problem child. The crickets chirp, the leaves bristle, and their faces are dimly illuminated by the moon. It's all going to be okay, and Izuku allows his eyes to droop closed, feeling truly safe for the first time in a long time. I'm here. This was Under the Soft Moonlight by Erasure Cat 19, read by The Devil's Advocate 18. Hope you enjoyed. Until next time.